Salutations, spooks, spirits, and specters, and welcome to OKAMI HD. I am playing this. I actually got this from Lego Gorn as a Christmas present. I'll just let this go. And anyways, kind of playing this because instead of Borderlands, because Lego Gorn is feeling a little uninterested in playing games right now. So I'm just letting him have his recovery period. And I'm going to be playing this one game that he bought me. I have had this game's final boss unintentionally spoiled to me. So many final boss, top 10 final boss videos or whatever. So I kind of had that kind of spoiled for me. But nothing else has really been spoiled, so allow me to get started on this wonderful journey. Oh, I already did this. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a tiny village by the name of Kamiki. Legend tells of a horrible beast that threatened the residents. It also tells of the wolf that risked it all to protect them. Controlling the very fabric of existence, this wolf stood up against the beast many times in size and banished the darkness. This ethereal wolf's valiant act ushered in an era of tranquility. The villagers' hearts swelled with respect and adoration of the wolf. OKAMI! Yay! Shall we get started? I hit enter. Oh! That's what happened. Yes, I'm gonna turn down some of this stuff so that way I don't, because normally the main thing I always forget to do is adjust sound for my very quiet voice. Okay, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. Everything else is fine. Exit. I am using mouse and keyboard. I don't know if that's if this will be easier or if it'd be better off to okay, backspace is back. Okay. So I'm gonna do a new game. OKAMI. Story Hideki Kamiya. I might have butchered that. I'm not gonna say these names. Long, long ago, a tiny hamlet known as Kamiki lay nestled in a grove of proud and beautiful cherry blossoms. That is why they are, like, hovering there. Each and every tree around the quiet burg was honored as a god. However, the village was not without its dark secrets. to satiate the appetite of Orochi, a fearsome cave-dwelling beast. A young maiden was offered as a sacrifice at the annual festival. With a body like a mountain and 8 heads mounted on necks the size of tree trunks, its blood-red eyes alone were said to curse anyone who gazed into them. No one dared to disobey the horrific beast. So that full story. When the night of the sacrifice drew near, a mysterious white wolf appeared outside the village. This wolf, its coat as brilliant as snow, was dubbed Shiranui? Shiranui? I probably butchered that pretty bad. I'm gonna call him Sure. The wolf kept a watchful eye on anyone who ventured outside the village and made a habit of patrolling the streets at night. People assumed the wolf to be a familiar of Orochi. One villager took it upon himself to face the fearsome Sure. If I say the full name, I feel like I'm butchering it. Shiranui. Shiranui. Sure. The warrior Nagi attempted many times to challenge the wolf, but his attempts were thwarted by Sure's swift movements. Before long, the night of the accursed festival had arrived. A white-plumed arrow heralded the coming sacrifice. Piercing the sky, the arrow sunk its shaft squarely into the home of Nami, the village's most beautiful maiden. Nagi, harboring a secret love for Nami, was enraged by this sign. Determined to put an end to Orochi once and for all, Nagi traveled to the beast's cave in place of his beloved. The Moon Cave, a place as dark as evil itself, served as Orochi's home. As Nagi stood bravely before the entrance, a beast appeared, eyes glowing crimson upon 8 thrashing necks. Orochi stood tall before him, anxious for another sacrifice. Nagi leapt with incredible grace, swinging his blade valiantly. On and on he sliced, well into the moonless night. But Orochi's hide was like steel. The blade left nary a scratch. At long last, Nagi, his energy spent from the intense battle, dropped to his knees, fatigued and gasping for breath. He knew he was staring death in the face. It was then that the wolf appeared. As if to protect Nagi, it stood its ground before Orochi. In the darkness of the cave, the wolf's coat shone brilliantly. Alas, it was Sure, the wolf that dwelled outside the village. Bearing its fearsome claws, Sure leapt toward Orochi. Orochi reared its terrifying head, readying its fangs for battle. The two beasts struggled wildly, thrashing in the darkness. Mysterious and terrifying, the spectacle continued. Sure summoned gusts of divine wind to counter Orochi's flames. As Orochi closed in on Sure, sharpened claws glistening, a gigantic tree suddenly sprouted forth, shielding the wolf. Sure fought gallantly to gain the upper hand. However, Orochi, protected by a mystical power, was not easily bested. Sure, covered in gashes, majestic coat dyed crimson, stood exhausted before the mighty Orochi. Orochi saw a chance to strike what would be the final blow. But Sure refused to give in. With its last ounce of strength, the majestic wolf gazed heavenward and unleashed a mighty howl. Suddenly, the black clouds overhead dissipated. The light from above glinted off Nagi's sword as a beacon of hope. Guided by his sword, Nagi, who had been taking shelter in the shadows, stood proudly to face his adversary. Channeling all his strength into his scarred and battered arms, he leapt ferociously toward Orochi, his sword poised high. The golden sword danced in his hands like a puppet on a string. One by one, Orochi's fearsome heads separated from their owner. Orochi's broken body collapsed in a lake of its own blood. In that instant, the curse that plagued the villagers was lifted. As the battle subsided, the sun shone once again in the sky. Sure had succumbed to Orochi's poison and struggled to breathe. Nagi scooped the beast into his arms and returned to Kamiki. When they reached the village, Sure was no longer moving. The village elder gently stroked the wolf's head. In response, Sure let out a hoarse and pitiful bark, then closed its eyes and drifted off as if into slumber. Sneeze. Peace had at last returned to Kamiki village. In honor of Sure's heroic exploits, the villagers erected a shrine and placed a statue of the wolf within it. Nagi's sword was Christianed, Tsukuyomi, and placed inside the moon cave. The villagers all looked forward to an age of endless peace. However, this is not the end of the story. But the beginning of another. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So thank you all ow, my eyeball is twitching badly. Sorry. Thank you all very much for watching. And ciao for now. Ciao for now.